Truth is bitter. Truth is bitter. So, as you know that, okay, so I have been on my spiritual journey for like 7 8 years, and 2023 it shifted for me, and it also sped up for me. Okay, it speeded up. It shifted also for me in 2023, and my spiritual realizations are becoming more and more you know my spiritual realizations are becoming more and more full of light, is what I want to say it. Maybe if that's the, I mean, it's them getting more and more clearer. you know how they say that ascension happens in like a spiral. you know so I've been going through those spiral cycles, and every time I complete a spiral, I reach the next level, it's more clearer. Every time I you know do another spiral, reach the next level, it's more clearer. So yeah, I've been having a lot of spiritual realizations, and in my life, in my personal life, I am seeing things that I've never seen before. I am seeing things in a light which I've never seen before. Why am I sharing all this? Not because I want to talk about my life. It's not always comfortable to talk about your life, but I'm sharing this because you know because I think humanity should know that there are things like these in the world too. you know Life is just not about a few particular things that we think are important. So yeah, one thing is that, and the other thing is that if it could be just useful to anyone around, or if anyone could just make use of this video. It's not easy to talk about a personal life for sure. But I do put it in my video because I feel I will be able to give the context in a more clearer way. So I just want to come here and talk about one major thing that is really happening with me on my personal level, that I am seeing more and more truths and of my life. Okay, how we say solar flashes. Everyone's talking about solar flashes, and I'm sorry, I'm not aware about the scientific phenomena, but definitely, like how it was told that solar flashes will speed up your spiritual process. I do feel that I can feel the effect, but I don't exactly know about how the scientific phenomena works with solar flashes. I don't know, right? But definitely I can see the effect of it in my life, that things have speeded up in my life, in terms of my spiritual path, and I'm seeing more and more truth, and it's just so. What happens when you see the truth, in your personal life, maybe of the people around you, maybe of the situations? Also, I'm seeing it on a global level, and my mind is completely changing, and my mind is completely shifting. You know, not just on the thought level. Thoughts are like nothing. It's just, it has been shifting, but now the process is really speeded up. I just want to come here and just talk about one thing about truth. When you see the truth, there is little resistance to seeing the truth. I'm just talking about me. So when I saw the truths, there was a little resistance towards me. No, this can't be true, because the nature of truth is that it is bitter. So there is a little bit of resistance, you know there's a little bit of anger that comes with it. Oh, this cannot be true. This cannot be true. Some part of me is like, please God, don't show me this. But the deepest levels of my part of my being knows that सच को देखना बहुत मुश्किल होता है. It requires a whole lot of sacred energy. It requires a whole lot of work, inner work. आपको बहुत purify करना पड़ता है yourself. How some people who are very fearful or very much in their ego, ego is what? Ego is basically the most fearful people on the planet. So people who are in the ego, fear is ego, ego is fear. It's as simple as that. So people who are in fear, they see their life, they see the truth only, where fear shows it or how fear shows it. Okay. But when you are nothing, when you've really worked on yourself and you have, purified yourself and come to the nothingness, Shiva is nothingness, Shiv Tattva is nothingness. So the more you've come to the nothingness, the more, the more you come to nothingness, the more and more truth you will be able to see. So yeah, it's like you stable yourself. Okay, you stable yourself out, the more and more you stable yourself, the more and more you sit, the more and more you sit with stillness, the more and more truth you can see, and the more and more bigger levels of truth you will see with respect to, let's say, people around you, with respect to situations around you, with respect to institutions around you, with respect to the global truths, that you can see. So I was facing this challenge that I would get into. Of course, it creates bitterness in my heart. Sometimes it's create anger in my heart. Sometimes it's create guilt in my heart. Sometimes I beat myself for not seeing it before. And sometimes I just want to change it. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to see it. Maybe I cannot. And of course, half the sentence when I say I don't want to see it, it's just mid sentence I stop, because I know it requires a whole lot of energy and it's a very sacred process, and it's very, it requires a lot to see the truth. And when it is coming to me, I cannot say that don't happen to me, but those are some instinctive reactions, of my heart. And it took me a very long to understand. The more and more higher level of truth I'll see, the more and more it'll just create that stir in me. But I have to sit with the truth, and I have to really drink it, like Shiva drank poison, like Shiva drank the bitterness. Truth is bitterness, and it is to be gulped down, completely down your throat, and to be used. Now you know the truth. The more and more truth you see, the more and more the reality is in your hand now. Okay, now you become more and more creator. You become more and more creator, because you become more and more creator. The more and more truth you see, the more and more creator of your life you become. Okay, you can manifest more when you see the truth more. The more control will be in your hand. Okay, when you see the truth. So this is one thing that happens, because you can, now the power lies with you, right? I always say that God knows the truth and demons, asuras, they know the truth. In between, humanity is all naive and innocent. It doesn't want to see the truth at their personal level. They're just so scared to see it, and they get emotional about it. They are naive. Humanity is naive. Humanity is little innocent to that. And asuras take advantage of that. Demons take advantage of you not trying to see the truth, because it is difficult. I know that it is bitter. I know that this is what has been happening in the world. um, yeah, so the more and more you see the truth, the more and more creator you become. You have now the power to control the situations. You have the power to mold things in your way. You literally become the wizard. And but I also feel that, when you see the truth, you really have to, if you're a spiritual seeker, you really have to stay grounded. You really have to be still, and work in your own center. Work, in a way. Now, since you have more power, because you've seen the truth of things around you, now the onus is on you, to work in a very inclusive manner. Okay, if you're a true spiritual seeker, you will work in a very inclusive manner. You will work thinking of the highest good of all. So yeah. So you cannot use it for your advantage. It has to be used, for the highest good of all. And I think if you are somebody who is, who has come to this point to see the truth, I'm sure you've already worked with those parts of yourself. You have already worked with your shadows. You have some sense of nothingness in you. You have some sense of Shiva in you. And that is why you are able to see the truth already. That is how universe works. Universe, gives the gift of, seeing, with your third eye to those who have purified themselves. People who are in fear, they will only be able to see, till how much their fear is showing them, not beyond that. And of course, they are unconsciously making the choice of not doing that. So yeah, I just want to come here and just say one damn thing. When you see the truth, I know it's bitter. I know it makes you angry. I know you seeing some of the deepest truths that completely is going to shock you, and somewhere inside you want to just react. Don't react. Sit with the truth. Gulp it down. Drink the poison, and only use it, and you since you have more power, so make sure that you use it in a very efficient manner. You use it to not to, for your advantage, but you use it for the highest good of all. And I am very sure if you've come to that place, you already know that. If you are somebody who've come to the place, where you're seeing more and more truths, where you're able to see more and more truths, because it is that bitterness, that poison is so sacred, or seeing truth so sacred that you can see the truth. I know how difficult it might be, but it is so sacred that you can see the truth. If you have come to that place, I'm sure you've already walked through your shadows. That is why you're able to see the truth. And I don't think so it has to be told, you know. But what can get really challenging is, you know, emotions are something that take us. You know, we emotions are something that take us, that can really take a toll on us. You know, emotions are very powerful in human beings. So yeah, just just be a little conscious around that. You know, that you don't, you know, um, yeah, like you don't get stirred by those emotions. That's it. You know, learn to sit still with that truth. Learn to drink that poison and sit with it and mold reality your own way for the highest good of all. That's all I want to come here and talk about.